All right, welcome YouTube audience. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Mark from NIGHTRIDE.
My name is Sam. We came from Poland for Drift Week 9.
I'm gonna yell questions at them from across the room. So first of all, you guys are incredibly influential right now on YouTube. I grew up watching option videos and having like the experience of drifting brought to me from a very unique and specific source. Everything that got out of Japan associated with drifting was from one place, which was option video basically, or maybe some magazines. You guys have an amazing amount of responsibility going forward, taking drifting to an audience, introducing them to it, telling what it is, packaging it, delivering it, and then the world lives with what you did, if that makes sense. What are you thinking about in relationship to the responsibilities you have going forward with that mission and that responsibility? Go.
Honestly, we're just trying to make everything as simple as possible. We don't like overcomplicating things. And oh, you said this is not going to be cut, no? Oh my days.
I think for us it started it started slow. We just started doing some stupid videos. Like I think everyone's the same beginnings when you just start to play with your car and maybe film some videos out of it. And it went very rapidly from this to now you telling us that there's a big responsibility on us. Mm-hmm. Which, to be honest, before I would never, I wouldn't think this way of what we do. Because usually we're just trying to, get some good content, get some good entertainment for people and also have fun ourselves. But I think you're right. I think people that are into drifting, into cars and everything would take our content as, like you said, as you took all the option videos and everything that inspired you to do what you do, right? Mm-hmm. So it makes sense.
And so overall, our content is very, you could say, relatable still. A lot of stuff that we do is really something that most people still could do. Of course, there's some stuff that we do that is more budget, not friendly. But most of the stuff that we do is pretty simple. We don't have any experience with anything really. I mean, we have some, but we don't know how to do anything still. Everything goes bad always, and people can relate to that, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, how much of your channel right now is well thought out and well crafted and engineered and storyboarded versus you guys just going in your shop or just looking oh, I should build a Miata, whatever is available to you. Do you guys put much thought into each thing that you produce media around, or is it just random still kids, which you're not kids anymore, but kind of adult kids in a workshop just making stuff?
There's just, honestly, there's the main idea. For example, now we had, we bought a JZX at home, and it's just, the idea is there, we had the car, and then we just go into garage and do things, whatever feels right.
We play around with it. We mostly document what we do, rather we do something to make a video. You know what I mean? We'd rather just
document over create, basically. Something like that.
Yeah, so we do it anyway. The fact we're just filming it, putting it out, it's extra. But of course, some travels and videos when we go to events, when we are invited, or we're just going to to Japan to have fun, to drift. This is obviously being okay, let's make a video out of it and deliver. But yeah, usually there is no much planning.
No
and
script.
organization.
It's just pull out the camera, start shooting. What happens, happens.
How long until your channel needs to start being thought out where you're I don't want to build the same car again, I don't want to go on the same adventure again? The audience is starting to get bored. Are y'all at that point yet where you're starting to think about how to do new and obscure things constantly?
Slowly we have, this year we started to have seen one or two of those comments of people saying that this is not the real Nightride. Real Nightride was building shit cars back home, and now we're traveling and do all this, you can say, fancy stuff for some people. I think it's a part of the growth for us and for the channel, the content we create.
What would you guys say is making your channel successful, unique, working, when a lot of people would say the attributes that I kind of think are special and cool, maybe you have Ladas in your channel, or you're Polish, or you have accents, or you're in the wrong country, all these different things are actually working for you, if you know what I mean. A lot of my friends that are in Australia or in Europe tell me that being a YouTuber outside of the United States is actually bad for some reason, or the types of cars they have access to, like if you're French, you know, like no one wants to see French cars, you know, whatever else it is. What do you think is so special about your channel? Why do people love it, and what are the things that make it work?
I think that the main thing is that we're not chasing anything, in a way, because if you're trying to do the same thing as everyone else, that, you know, you want to move to America, you want to do this crazy stuff, budgets and everything, if you're trying to do the same thing as everyone else, there's a smaller chance that you will succeed and, like, you know, do those things. But because we're doing what makes us happy, and like you can see the genuine excitement for us for doing these random things that makes us happy. They don't need to make other people happy. A lot of people will not understand cars like Lada, like you said, but because it makes me happy, for example, that's my favorite car, even though it's a stupid car, it makes me happy, and the person who watches it you can sense that it makes me happy, and that makes them happy for me, for example. So a lot of cars that we build are like this, and just it's a genuine love for what you do. And if you don't chase what other people are chasing, you're just going your own way. Yes, it will take longer to get somewhere. Yes, you know, because it's not that, how do you say, like, some things could be exciting and, you know, whatever other people are making, but it's also just your own things. You just go at your own pace. Never chase anything.
For me, what's different with us, maybe it's firstly that our content is in English and we live in Poland, and there's not other channel like back in not English-speaking countries that speak English, like on the channel and do English content. So for example, for people in US or Australia or anyone else, it's hard to see other content from our part of the world, because maybe not much of it is in English. And also the fact that we live in this, so Poland is a strange country, because it's like, for us, I think for what we do is a perfect spot. It's like a sweet spot between, because it's Central Europe, so it's between West, which is Germany, France, and UK, which is now very strict with laws and everything, and they try to, you know,
cut down on everything.
Cut down on everything, and drifting is illegal, and this is legal. They close tracks. Everything is very hard to do and expensive. So Poland is between this and East, which is Ukraine and Russia, which is super wild, but also, you know, they have their own issues. I think we are in the sweet spot where we still have a freedom of just doing what we do without, you know, maybe government
problems.
and laws telling us what to do, what we cannot do, what we can do, but also everything is still accessible, because it's like a more Western than Eastern. Yeah.
I just had an interesting thought. I think you're exactly right. The Noriaro channel, I think, worked so well with Alexei because he was simply an English-speaking person in Japan that could show us behind the veil of Japanese culture and take us to the parking lots at night, or just show us individual cars. And there wasn't anyone doing that, and he had to put in very little effort other than showing us what was in front of him and explaining it in English so we could see kind of behind the veil. We don't have anybody really in those parts of the country, like you said, in Poland. And when I first went over to Poland, I was like, holy cow, there's so much drifting here. I had no idea Poland had just drift cars on the streets everywhere up by where Goblo lives. I can't say the city, I won't try. And then we would see pro cars getting like trailered over the country all over the place as we drove around. It was very cool. And and as an American, I didn't know all that stuff existed because Americans don't really know anything about that part of the world. That's a really good explanation.
And when I started the channel, when it was still small, I started in Polish, so it was only for a Polish audience. But then we could see, because I'm trying to make the visuals very nice always. So I started not only, you know, the talking videos, vlogs, but there was also like just showing cars and whatever without talking. So there was more comments, you know, in English, and people were commenting that they would like to maybe understand what we're saying, but they cannot, you know, get the language. So that's where I was thinking about switch to English. But there were so many different thoughts about, is it really a good move if it wouldn't be, you know, because it's not my first language. So if it would make sense to just switch the language of the whole channel. But now we know that that decision was good, and actually it skyrocketed after then. Yes.
So it made a big difference.
Big difference.
A lot of people were watching the channel even though someone was talking Polish, but they were commenting in English saying that even I don't understand it, I still watch it. It's a vibe.
And also, I think
because it was being carried by the visuals as well, so it was just enjoyable to watch.
I think the other factor that makes us a bit different than the rest is that we are not professionals. We've never been, you know, super good at this, at cars, at driving, anything. So I think it's, like we said before, a bit more relatable for people. Like, for example, if you watch Adam, he's, you know, a great driver, or Jimmy is like engineer and stuff, and they are very professional. They treat it very like serious and professionally. We just learn along the way. We made many mistakes. We make very stupid mistakes when, you know, I think most people would make as well along the way. So that's why maybe it's a bit different as well.
Cool.
Also, lo-fi music with drifting.
I did notice, where do you all get all your lo-fi music?
Well, at this point, people just make music and they send us the loads of stuff. But back in the day, just random YouTube, you know, you type lo-fi, copyright-free beat.
Oh.
No, then you leave the stuff in description, of course, but like, you just
Yeah, when we
that.
started doing the drift videos, like from events, everything was about dubstep and aggressive music and like crazy,
you know, punk rock, you know, you're driving fast.
energy, and I started just doing, you know, slow motion, slow down, chill music, more of a vibey things.
Yeah, and that's how people came to, at this point, people just, we release video every Sunday, and people just tell us that they get all the family together or friends together, and they just get coffee, sit down on a sofa, and it's like a Sunday tradition to watch the video in the morning.
Because that's another thing, being consistent, I think, is super important. For us, we are staying consistent for now a couple years, just delivering every week. And many very good creators that I saw upcoming and having very cool content, they just did some videos, then they stopped, then they had a break, and then they, I don't know, switched something. And then I think being consistent, it's a big key of getting successful in what we do.
Because a lot of people try to do too much as well. And that's how they burn out. If we could make more videos as well, we could make videos twice a week, 3 times a week, but then I know that we will not feel great after some time, you know. It's just going to be too much. You're just milking the content that's not really out there, you know. But if you're just staying one video, not overthinking it all the time, it's just easier on your mind, so that's why you can stay more consistent for a longer time.
That's very wise. I see everybody, I included, sometimes make videos, you know, like 30 in a month or something like that, and I just quit for 6 months.
Yep, because it burns you out.
Yeah. I only make content when it's like, I find things interesting, or I'm around interesting people, or I'm doing something. And then if I'm doing too much, I can't make content because it's too hard, you know. Like hosting Drift Week. It's really hard to make content while I'm hosting, and then I also want to drive and do everything else. All right, so what are y'all going to do in the next 10 years? What goals do you have?
Compound. That's everyone. I suppose every car guy. That's always the ultimate dream.
Yeah, we have cool space. We live in a small city, not small like, but a regular city, but we have everything super close. So we live like 3 minutes to each other. We have 3-4 minutes drive to the garage and to the shop. Everything is super local, but we don't have our own space. We just keep renting. So maybe the goal would be to have actually our own space where we can, you know, invite some people, when we can do some cool things.
We can actually build it the way we want.
Yes, I have a lot of cool ideas, but just requires focus on, just getting a space. Pretty much, that's our goal for now. We don't really have anything else.
We don't plan that far ahead. Does it? Like, we do plan ahead, of course, you know, like the rough ideas, but like not too much.
Yeah.
Also, in Poland, like you said in one of your last questions, the money isn't as great as like American YouTube and stuff. So, you know, it's not as easy for us to move forward. Like, everyone is asking, like, oh, why don't you buy a space? You have 1 million subs, and we get like 5 to 10 times less than, you know, American YouTubers. But like,
which is good and bad, because like it's good because this, I think, also keeps us relatable, that we still struggle with everything. We don't have all the fancy tools and fancy garage and fancy floor and like lifts and everything. Even though, you know, our audience is super big, and when we, for example, host some even like local car meets, or we go to some events, we go to Ultrace, for example, in Poland, you can see huge amount of people coming up to us and like, you know, being there, but we still struggle sometimes, which I think is another thing that, you know, makes it all unique, maybe.
Exciting.
People want to see you suffer.
Yep.
They love it.
They love that.
They love
me.
crashing. They love they love it. Yeah. Our best, like, biggest videos, 8 million views now. It's our friend crashing in a forest and us struggling to like bring the car back.
He couldn't tell his mom and everything. It was so bad. Yeah.
So What are the differences as you're traveling around the world? You were talking about how like Western Bloc Soviet countries and stuff like Ukraine or Poland or I guess Russia and everything are so different than Eastern European countries or the United States and stuff like that. What are those differences? Because most people haven't traveled to Russia or Poland or Ukraine or anywhere else. What are the differences in the car culture as you go around for drifting?
Regulations in general, like for example,
That's
when
a
you
big
go
one, yeah.
to a left side like UK or let's say Germany, you could not even change your brake line legally.
Yeah, you cannot put the
Like,
different
legit,
wheels.
you cannot, like, let's say you want to upgrade your brakes, you cannot change a line, that's illegal.
Or coilovers, you need to
Yes.
have like special documents, like inspections for it and everything. Whether they're in the East or Poland still, and hopefully the longest, the better. We can do whatever we want. It's not as crazy as, for example, here in Texas, where you can have half a car broken, no lights or whatever you can drive, but still. But also regulations talking about drifting and trucks specifically. For example, if you go to Japan, it's very chill at Ebisu. You just need to have a helmet, and there's no person with a flag or there's no marshals. Just go do whatever. Also here in Texas, everything is super chill, at least on your events. But for example, we went to New Zealand beginning of the year, and even though we were taking part in like you could say chill event on the racetrack, they required so much like gear, all the hands, boots, gloves, like everything. That's another thing.
Same as UK,
that's
for
different.
example,
UK
they
as well
also
is very
required
strict,
loads of like,
yeah.
you have to have a race suit, you have to have the straps here, for the helmet, so your neck doesn't break. So many regulations, and that's the big barrier for people to enter this stuff. And yeah, on our side, and when you go anywhere further east, it just sort of chills more and more.
Yeah.
It's just easier
Also,
overall.
looking at drift cars, maybe I think Poland was maybe like 2-3 years ago. Everything was about style of the cars. So like Ultra's next level or Final Bout, style. So big chrome wheels, super low, stancy cars, sliding and stuff. Not necessarily big power, big grip, and a lot of speed. Now it's changing a bit towards like everyone, I think, tried it, and then once they tried to have some different approach to drifting, to maybe go a bit faster or maybe go a bit bigger angle or try different tires, I think now it's changing towards more of a things like in here or in Japan. But that's also one of the differences between. So back home, cars obviously are different. There's many Eurocars, BMWs are the biggest drift chassis. We don't have some of the cars that here are super popular, like Z's or Corvettes or everything. So there's many differences.
Cool.
Yeah.
I see a lot of street drifting in your videos, and also in like Russia. I don't really see anything Ukraine-based, but they're also not doing so well right now. Is street drifting legal there, or just not as like? Because they say there's no law against street drifting in Russia on the books, so people just street drift. Is that real?
It's just they let you off much more, and you can give some money.
I don't know about Russia, but Poland, it's again, like I said, where is it located in Europe? So, for example, UK, you have like street cameras everywhere. Every crossing, every light, you have cameras. Whatever you do bad on the road, they would straight away get you. Poland has no much cameras. They don't have much forces like. They don't have much like here you can see sheriff or police car everywhere. Back home is not really
The moment
the
you
case.
go out
And
of the
also,
city, it's not much.
of course, it's not legal to do street drifting, but if you do it clever, if you don't do it like middle of the day between cars, you just take 2-3 friends and go to the mountains where you see empty roads at 3 a.m. and you have someone at the end of the road just to be safe. I think there's nothing wrong
Because
with
a
it.
lot of people see us drifting like on streets, and they think that this is just a free for all. You do what you want. But like Sam said, there's always someone on top of the hill or on the bottom waiting to let us know there's a car coming or not. The moment car comes, we stop drifting. So it's actually done very safely. And also we never go at like middle of days. It's always the most like quiet hours you can think of, at middle of night, early 4 a.m. mornings and stuff. It's very controlled.
But of course, if you get caught, you get troubles,
Yeah.
like everywhere. Maybe less troubles than here, because here they would put you to jail probably. Or like, I think in UK as well, Germany, they impound the car or whatever.
I mean, last time we were drifting, Sam was drifting on the road, we were filming. The police just stopped us. They said, just go.
Yeah.
Just leave.
If you leave right now, don't worry about
It's also
it.
up
But
to your-
on a trailer, so we had to bring the trailer quickly.
It's also up to your attitude towards the policeman, of course. If you like, just say sorry, I'll be gone, whatever. Just don't be cocky. It can end up very
Yeah, you
much
wouldn't
better.
be cocky to a Texan policeman.
Oh no.
No.
That wouldn't go well.
They have guns. I'm not cocky to anyone who has a gun.
Yeah.
Your Polish police don't have guns?
They have
Oh no.
guns.
They have,
guns,
but they cannot use them technically.
Yeah, they don't know.
It's
how to use
very, it's very tricky to use them.
them. Well, yeah.
Well, last question. What is the best memory you have in drifting, since you guys have so many amazing opportunities and stuff presented to you and you get to go do so many cool things? What is each of you guys, that's terrible English, what was each of your best memories in drifting so far? Because I'm always trying to steal memories, like if you say, go to Ebisu, I'll go there, like do this thing, you know what I mean? Like, I like
Honest,
copying stuff.
I have a feeling me and Sam gonna say the same thing, but Japan,
Yeah.
Ebisu is just, it's always been on the bucket list. And since we were there first 2 times, we rented cars from Gobla, and we're driving those, and then we bought our own car. It's just, especially when all the friends are driving there together. Because like we said before as well, there's almost no rules on those trucks. You just do whatever.
Also, sometimes you dream about something, you see it everywhere, and then you go do it, and it's maybe not necessarily what you expected. But Ebisu definitely meets the expectations, at least for us. But I was gonna say actually different thing, something much more simple. Maybe a couple months ago, me and Boogie, when we just went to street drifting.
Yeah.
So we were just, me and my friend Boogie, we have, you know, cars, and we were just sitting, and we said like, okay, it's middle of the night, why don't we go do some driving? And we end up just drifting the whole night around the city, just doing some wild things without cameras, without anything. And I think the simple things like this at the moment, that's what I thought firstly.
Very cool.
Just fun.
Well, congratulations on all your success. I hope that y'all find amazing adventures in the future and take your audience to amazing places and create new things, if you know what I mean. You don't just replicate the exact same thing everyone's doing just for like the YouTube algorithm, but that you take everybody on a journey and you get to find like happiness in drifting and go do some amazing things, because it's whatever you dream up.
Awesome.
It's so cool that you guys get to just dream up whatever you want at this point and do it.
Thank
Like
you.
the compound, or like your favorite car you ever wanted to build, or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Boom.
Awesome.
Sai, did it finish the video? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Now he will say it didn't film.